All right, the next section of your paper is titled Rest in Peace. In this section, you are talking about one of two things, either the death of your explorer and when they died, where they died, and if there's any memorial set up for them. Even cause of death, if you know that, you could include that as well. There is a group of you who also are writing a paper about an explorer who might still be living. If you are in that boat and your explorer is still living, this section is going to look a little different for you. You're obviously not going to have a death date or a death place. There may be some memorials for your explorer that you could still include that in your paper. But in this section, you might change the heading title to something more appropriate if Rest in Peace doesn't fit. Where are they at today? What are they doing today? Anything along those lines could be a new heading for you. And you're in this section going to talk about what your explorer is doing today if they're still alive. How old are they today if they're still living? And maybe where do they live? You could still include some of those same things, but it just might look a little bit different. What are they doing with their time if they're still alive today? So in my case, Columbus, he has obviously died. So I found a death date, I found a death place, and I did find information on memorials. You might not be able to find any information about memorials for your explorer. If that's the case, then you're just going to tell me about their death date and where they died, and hopefully you can find some information on maybe cause of death or something like that to include in your paragraph. So, looking at your 3 note cards in paragraphology in the orange box for Rest in Peace, you're going to draft this section. Again, this might be a little bit of a shorter one for you depending on the information that you found. Try to add in some of your own thinking and try to make it a paragraph. This section, it may only be a few sentences. If you really only know the date that they died and where. For Columbus, there was a little more that I could add to that with memorials and things like that. So, as you're drafting, remember my copy of the paper is there for you to look at. You can read this section, see if that sparks any ideas that you can use in your own paper. And again, if your explorer is still living, you want to change the heading title to something that fits a little bit better, and tell me how old are they today, where are they living today, what are they doing with themselves today compared to when they were exploring. Okay. When you're done writing Rest in Peace, drafting it, you are ready to move on to the next section that you have. And there's another video for you to watch there before you start drafting.